In due time, Your Honor,
Ito na naman tayo.
possibly
In due time ka na
give
ng
us
in due
until
time.
next
Can
week,
you
Your
tell
Honor.
us? Sinasabi mo, transparency ka na ng transparency. Kaya nga tinatanong ko sa'yo, itong billboard mo is only a formality. Hindi ba? Wala naman akong makikita dyan. Kahit tingnan ko pa yung billboard na yan, wala akong nakikitang ginawang audit dyan. As far as the building one is concerned, there is no information indicated in that billboard. Bakit DPWH pang nag-undertake considering that it is a housing project? Marami silang ginagawa na hindi nila pinapaalam sa inyo.
To build the building, Your Honor. And
I know that. Pero bilang isang tao, alam mong may mga bahay doon. Ang ibig mo ba sabihin, sasabihin mo sa akin ngayon na hindi mo alam kung paano nasira yung mga bahay at hindi ka man lang nagtanong kung bakit naalis yung mga bahay. Hindi mo ginawa yon?
Sorry, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Gusto mo bang gayahin yung pagsisinungaling ng Alpha Omega at yung engineer ng DPWH na hindi nila alam kung sinong nagwasak ng kanilang mga bahay ng residente? Ganun ba? What did you say? You don't have any idea.
Oh, yeah. I don't have the knowledge.
Kasi you did not even care to know. Di ba? Bali, wala naman sa'yo yun eh. Mr. Administrator, Article 13, Section 10 of the Constitution provides that urban or rural poor shall not be evicted, nor their dwellings demolished, except in accordance with law and in just and humane manner. Are you aware of this constitutional injunction?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Chair, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Kahit ikaw nung last hearing, pinangatawanan mo na hindi mo alam kung sino ang nag-demolish sa mga kabahayan ng mga complaining residents. Tama?
If Your Honor, please let me clarify, Your Honor. What I stated, Your Honor, was there was no demolition, actual demolition conducted, Your Honor. There was voluntary dismantling by the residents who acquiesced to the relocation and the project itself.
Bakit sasabihin mo ngayon that they are not actual residents samantalang you pinpointed the very lots and the residents to be covered by those buildings?
With due
Kanina
respect,
kasi sinabi mo, attorney, sinabi mo na binayaran mo yung 3 requisites.
yes, Your
I
Honor,
talked
we
to the
did.
clerk of court.
Yes,
Ang
we did,
binayaran
Your
nyo
Honor,
lang,
but
ang binayaran nyo lang yung lupa pero hindi yung current zonal value.
yes, Your
You
Honor,
paid
because
from
under
1,200
if Your
pero,
Honor, please.
pero hindi yung current zonal value. At the time of the taking, attorney, pinagtanong ko sa BIR, sana may panahon pa tayo hanggang mamaya because the BIR representative is there. Alam ko at that time the zonal value is at least 7,500 pesos. Ang sabi
Yes,
ng
Your
clerk of court,
As of the present, if Your Honor, please, what I'm trying to state, Your Honor, trying to bring out is that it was the discretion of the court, Your Honor, because apparently the court was just following OCA circular number 113-2009, which really requires the value of the land, Your Honor.
na palagi niyong sinasabi, walang naganap na demolition, para bang kailangang magbulag-bulagan na lang tayo, walang nangyaring demolition. Ito yung mahirap tanggapin siguro. Attorney, as the owner of the project, the author of the ordinances to expropriate, the petitioner in the expropriation complaints, and the movant in the break-open pleas filed in court against several residents to drive them away from their own houses, would you still deny that LGU Osamis is not the one which ordered demolition of the houses in Puroclaman? Will you still deny that?
If Your Honor, please, it was the residents themselves which
On your lawyer's
voluntarily
oath,
dismantled,
attorney,
Your
on your lawyer's oath, would you still insist that these residents voluntarily demolished their houses?
As
Despite
far
the
as
fact
I know,
that they are
yes, Your
present
Honor.
today and that they denied your statement?
Yes, as far
Do
as
you
I know,
expect-
yes, Your Honor.
Do you expect anyone to believe you?
If Your Honor, please, whatever might be their belief, Your Honor, because that is the actual fact, Your Honor, that happened.
This committee is the final arbiter as to what is the final fact, Mr. Attorney.
We submit, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Chair, nauna nyo bang kinonsider yung 5 na order of priority in the acquisition of lands? Hindi. Pumunta kayo kagad, binaligtad ninyo, ang una ninyong kinuha ay private lands. Ang ginawa ng LGU attorney, binaligtad nyo na naman. Ang inuna nyo is expropriation. Do you know the strict condition enunciated by RA 7279 and pointed out by the Supreme Court before an LGU can resort to expropriation? Do you know the strict condition?
Yes, you have already consumed 40 minutes, but I'd like to ask first DS OMINAL, the second in line to interpolate, if he is willing to give more time to you, or you can be subjected to another round. DS OMINAL, are you willing to give more time because you're next in line?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. In support with the proceedings now with the Committee on Good Government, I yield still my time to DIST.MISS so that he can continue, and I will just take my time after he has finished his interpellation.
Thank you. That is very good sign of good faith. Thank you.
May I revert back to the engineer of 2nd District, Mr. Chair? The one
The
who
former DE District Engineer Abinales, please answer the questions of DS Marcoleta.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Engineer Abinales, based on the approved site and development plans, did you know the total area used up by the two buildings in Barangay Laman?
For a while, sir.
What is your answer?
For a while, sir. For a while, sir. Hindi na tumukuha dahil. For the two buildings, sir. For the two buildings. For the total area, sir, it's 7,592 square meters. For the projects,
Yun lamang building ang sinasabi ko, Madam Chair, yung kanyang floor area, building 1 at saka building 2, i-add mo ilang square meters yung nakain niyang espasyo. Yun lang yung tinatanong ko sa'yo.
14 by 55 ang sa building 1.
I would like to help you, Madam Engineer. Can you show slide 9, please?
770 square meter for building 1.
Ito yung slide 9, Mr. Chair.
770.
Yung slide 9 is a locational sketch showing the lots of the residents expropriated for building 1 and 2. Yung arrow na puti, Mr. Chair, makikita nyo 19 KJ 0186, yan po yung building 1. Yung isa pang arrow na puti is 20 KJO 183. Yan ang building 2. Makikita po ninyo doon sa green at saka violet na arrows, may mga lots po, Mr. Chair, na hindi nagamit. Ibig sabihin, kahit na hindi inalis yung mga bahay na yon, po pwede namang itayo yung dalawang buildings nang kahit hindi na sila mag-aalis ng maninira ng mga bahay. Can you show slide 10, please? Ito po yung slide 10, Mr. Chair. Yan po yung perspective indicating the position of building 1 and 2 and the lots that were not used up. Makikita nyo dyan yung mga pangalan ng mga residents sa building 1. May arrow na nakaturo rito. And also the residents affected by Building 2. Slide 11 now. Mr. Chair, dyan makikita ninyo, I want to demonstrate the fact that there is a building beside Building 2. Yan po ay building ng isang resident, yan po ay bahay ng isang residente na hindi na nila sinira. Hindi ko malaman kung ano ang ibig nilang gawin dyan. Pero just the same, they forcibly evicted the residents of that house. Dito po malinaw, Mr. Chair, kaya naman pala nilang itayo yung Building 2 without demolishing the house. Ito po, dahil siguro maganda yung bahay na yan, hindi nila sinira, baka naman may mapaggamitan sila, pero pinalayas po nila yung may-ari ng bahay at yung mga nakikitira pa na pamilya na sa loob ng bahay na yan. Yan po ay kinuha, yung picture na yan, nang dumalaw si Secretary Andanar na may nagkukunwari pang justice daw sa project ng housing. Samantalang ang dapat nabigyan ng hustisya, Mr. Chair, yung mga may-ari ng bahay na yan na pinalayas na walang bayad at walang relocation. Mr. Chair, before I was interrupted during the last hearing, I was inquiring from the local COA representative whether they start auditing the project upon payment of the mobilization fee or at the first billing. And I interrupt nga ako, Mr. Chair, if I can get an answer now from the local COA representative.
Mr. Celso Bucal, you are recognized. D.S.MARCOLETA has a few questions.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Kailan po ba ninyo sinisiyasat yung pagbabayad sa kontraktor? Sa first billing lang o sa mobilization fee?
As I said before, Your Honor, during our first meeting, that we are on post-payment basis, audit basis, that we investigate, we audit the disbursements once the corresponding disbursement vouchers are received by us.
Sa makatwid, ang sinasabi po ninyo, Mr. Auditor, hindi nyo na monitor kung tama yung ibinayad sa kontraktor sapagkat bago kayo makapag-audit, ay yung tapos na yung project. Tama po ba yun?
Precisely, Your Honor. You're right in that, Your Honor.
Sa makatwid, katulad po ng pinag-uusapan natin kanina pa at nagpakita na nga ako ng mga pagkakataon na maaaring yung billing nila ay hindi tama sapagkat kung makikita ninyo yung progress sa ground ng mga projects katulad ng Building 1, sinasabi nila 100% na pong tapos, pero makikita naman ninyo halos nagsisimula pa lang. Sapagkat mamaya ipakikita ko sa inyo ng approved project, ng approved plan ng Building 1, 4 na palapag, 4 stories. Ngayon, ni-revise nila, sila lang ang nag-revise. Alam po ba ninyo sa COA kung ni-revise nila o hindi? Hindi rin po nyo alam sapagkat, sabi nga ninyo, post-audit kayo, hindi ba?
Right, Your Honor.
Sa mga katwid, hindi ninyo nasusubaybayan kung talagang nagagamit ng tama ang ating pondo sapagkat makikita nyo na lang siguro na nawaldas na pagkatapos na ng project o maring hindi natapos ang project. Hindi ba ganun?
You're right also, Your Honor.
Okay, so ano po, what is the significance of the COA billboard posted at the construction site? Pakita nyo nga po yung slide 12. Slide 12. Yung 12 po, slide 12. Ayan. Mr. COA representative,
Your Honor,
sa lahat
yes.
ng project, meron kayong nilalagay na ganyan na billboard.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ipakita nga sa amin kung anong importansya niyan. Hindi naman pala ninyo minomonitor din ang pagbabayad. Unang-una, hindi naman nyo nilalagyan ng update kung ilan yung natapos na, hanggang kailan na yung ilang porsyento ng makikita po ninyo yung kitang-kita po ninyo, ang billboard ninyo, wala namang laman Wala namang ibig sabihin yan So ang tinatanong ko sa inyo, anong saysay po ng anong billboard na yan ng COA?
That is for the public to know, Your Honor, pursuant
Na?
to the transparency policy of the government, Your Honor.
Paano ang transparency dyan? Hindi mo nga nalalaman kung nalulustay na yung pera ng gobyerno. Malalaman mo lang na nalustay kung sakasakali pagdating na natapos na o hindi natapos ang project. Pero habang ginagawa yan, kagaya na rin ang pag-amin mo, wala kayong nalalaman. Hindi nyo minomonitor dahil ang audit ninyo is post-audit.
We will not know, Your Honor, except that if there is a complaint, we're going to give priority on that. Without waiting for these vouchers to be received by us, we will do already our initial audit investigation.
Eh, sino magko-complain sa'yo? Kamukha ngayon. Matagal ko
In this case,
sinasabi.
Your Honor,
You
the
attended.
residents
You
affected.
attended the last hearing. You were there.
Yes, Your Honor.
O sa makatwid, hindi pa ba sapat itong naririnig mo ngayon para mag-umpisa ka na sana na mag-audit?
It's enough, Your Honor, and so we did. We
What have you done?
already referred this matter to the audit team concerned for initial
Oh.
evaluation.
Can we have an initial report of that evaluation and be submitted to the office of the chairman of this committee?
As soon as it is finished, Your Honor, we'll be forwarding that.
When are you supposed to finish that?
In due time, Your Honor,
Ito na naman tayo.
possibly,
In due time ka na
give
in
us
due
until
time.
next
Can
week,
you
Your
tell
Honor.
us?
Your Honor, give us until next week. We have preliminary, we have already initial investigation, but not yet finalized, Your Honor. We're going to review this one.
Sinasabi mo, transparency ka na ng transparency. Kaya nga tinatanong ko sa'yo, itong billboard mo is only a formality. Hindi ba? Wala naman akong makikita dyan. Kahit tingnan ko pa yung billboard na yan, wala akong nakitang ginawang audit dyan. As far as the building one is concerned, there is no information indicated in that billboard.
That because,
tama
Your
ka.
Honor,
Tama ka
we
rin
do not
naman.
receive yet
Sabi
the
ko nga,
contract.
teka muna. Tama ka rin sa sinabi mo na hindi nyo namomonitor.
Yes, Your Honor.
At hindi nyo rin nakikita kung tama yung basis ng payment sa first billing, second billing, sapagkat malalaman nyo lamang yon pagtapos na o hindi natapos ang project. Tama?
No, not that we will know about the project already finished, but we will know there is payment once the disbursement vouchers are submitted to us.
Kaya nga, malalaman nyo lang na maaaring sumobra yung payment o nawaldas ang payment o hindi totoong payment pagkatapos na lahat.
Not necessarily, Your Honor, because once we have the disbursement vouchers, without the project finished, we are going to make already our own sort of examination.
Ilang vouchers na bang
By
nakita mo so
post-audit.
far? How many vouchers have you audited so far?
So far, Your Honor, we received our audit team. I have no exact knowledge, Your Honor, how many vouchers referring
up
to
to
these
now,
transactions.
Up to now, you have no knowledge about the vouchers that you are auditing. O, nakita mo na, pagkatapos sasabihin mo naman, not necessarily. Can you please answer honestly para mapabilis itong pagtatanong ko sa iyo? Kanina sinabi mo na post-audit ka lang.
Yes,
Ngayon,
Your Honor.
sinasabi ka na naman, you are validating certain vouchers. Anong vouchers ang ino-audit mo ngayon?
We are still, Your Honor, referring this matter to our audit team for initial audit investigation, Your Honor. And we don't have
Akala ko
exact copy yet of the evaluation, initial evaluation, Your Honor.
O sige, para
So,
matapos ka na lang. Okay, when are you going to submit a report to the chairman of this committee with respect to the initial audit that you are undertaking?
as soon as possible next week, Your Honor.
As soon as possible next week. Okay. Mr. Chair, may I revert to DPWH Region 10?
Yes, Legal Officer of DPWH Region 10.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Madam Legal Officer, talaga wala bang engineer na makakapag-substitute sa'yo?
From the regional office,
Ikaw
Your
lang,
Honor, I'm
kanilang
the only one
pinadala.
available. Yes, Your Honor.
The second building, attorney, Kasi
Yes.
dalawang building ang pinag-uusapan dito eh. First building, second building. Yung first building was funded by the national government. The second building was funded by local funding yata yun. Tama ba yun?
Your Honor, are we referring to the Malaubang building, Your Honor,
No,
for
no,
the
no.
second
The second building in Barangay Lamaan. Dalawang buildings, madam.
phase 2?
First two,
What they're
phase 1 and phase 2, Barangay Lamaan. Yung cluster in Malaubang, that's another. So yung
That's part of.
yung phase 2 or second building is funded by the local government.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kung local government yon, housing project, bakit kayo ang nag-i-implement? Local funding naman yan. You are saying that the local LGU is not capable of executing its own program, its own project. Bakit DPW is pang nag-undertake considering that it is a housing project?
Your Honor, we only knew about the memorandum of agreement only recently. Maybe the district office can answer the question. We are only aware of the first contract, which is 19K00186.
Bakit hindi
0186.
pinaalam sa inyo yung second building? They had a
Your Honor, it is
memorandum of
within-
agreement, hindi ba?
Yes, Your
Did
Honor.
you know that the memorandum of agreement came later?
We have no
Hindi mo rin
knowledge
alam yun.
of the. Yes, Your Honor.
So there are many things that they are being that are kept from the attention of your office. Marami silang ginagawa na hindi nila pinapaalam sa inyo. May I go to the contractor of building 2, Mr. Chair, Mountain Rock?
Do you mean Mindanao Rock Construction?
Mindanao Rock. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Mindanao Rock.
Yes, to the representative Mindanao Rock, please introduce yourself. Please unmute.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Who is this? Please identify yourself, sir.
I'm Eric Lim, Your Honor. Eric Lim. Eric Lim, Your
Eric
Honor.
Lim.
Mahina po yung volume nyo. Hindi marinig yung voice nyo.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm Eric Lim, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Eric Lim, D.S.MARCOLETA.
Eric Lim, hindi ba yung Alpha and Omega, Lim din? Magkaano-ano ba kayo?
Kilala lang, Your Honor.
Hindi kayo magkamag-anak? Hindi ba, Lina? Huwag mo na sagutin kung ayaw mo siya maging kamag-anak. What is the date of the notice of award, Mr. Lim?
It's August 5, 2020, Your Honor.
August 5.
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you actually start the construction?
It's August 24, Your Honor.
August.
August 24.
I will ask you again, Mr. Lim. Are you aware that the second building, which was used to construct building 2, the land of which was owned by small property owners expropriated by LGU Osamis? Did you know that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. At pagkatapos nun, Mr. Lim, their houses were demolished to give away or to give way to building 2. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Can you tell us who demolished their houses?
I have no idea, Your Honor.
Why? You did not ask around? You're supposed to be there. You're the contractor.
When
Bago mo pa tinanggap ang project na yan, alam mo kung saan itatayo, tama?
when we come to that site, it's already clear, Your Honor.
Pero nag-start ka August, di ba?
Yes, August 24, Your Honor.
Ibig mo sabihin, nung ka lang pumunta, nung August 4, you did not go to the site earlier than that? Let's say, sinarbay mo yung lupa, tiningnan mo yung lugar, yung magmomobilize ka doon, magko-construct ka ng mga gagamitin mong mga sisilungan ng trabahador mo, may bunkhouse ka doon. Ibig mo sabihin, you went there only on August 2020?
When the DPWH ordered me notice to commence, that's where my project engineer inspect the site, Your Honor.
Kaya nga, ang tinatanong ko sa iyo, hindi ka man lang pumunta doon prior to August 2020? Yun ba ibig mo sabihin?
I passed by there, Your Honor, because it's
Hindi mo ba alam na bago August napakarami pa ng bahay na nakatayo doon? Halimbawa, nung Abril, Pebrero 2020, may nakatayo pa yung mga bahay diyan. January 2020. Hindi mo ba tinanong sa sarili mo, paano ko makakapag-construct dito? May mga bahay pala rito. Did you not ask yourself na maaring ma-delay ang what was the notice of proceed? What is the date of the notice to proceed?
It's August 18, 2020, Your Honor.
Pagkatapos, doon ka lang pumunta, August 2020?
I passed by there, Your Honor, but yes, August 20.
When you passed by there,
yeah,
you saw the houses prior to August 2020. Tama?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Hindi ka man lang nagtanong kung paano naalis yung mga bahay? You are under oath, Mr. Contractor. And I'm sure you know the penalty for lying.
Yes, Your Honor. My concern, my contract is only to build the building, Your Honor. And
I know that. Pero bilang isang tao, alam mong may mga bahay doon. Ang ibig mo ba sabihin, sasabihin mo sa akin ngayon na hindi mo alam kung paano nasira yung mga bahay at hindi ka man lang nagtanong kung bakit naalis yung mga bahay? Hindi mo ginawa yon?
Sorry, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Gusto mo bang gayahin yung pagsisinungaling ng Alpha Omega at yung engineer ng DPWH na hindi nila alam kung sino ang nagwasak ng kanilang mga bahay ng residente? Ganun ba?
Sorry, no, Your Honor, I don't have any idea. Sorry.
What did you say? You don't have any idea.
Oh, yeah, I don't have the knowledge.
Kasi you did not even care to know. Di ba? Bali, wala naman sa'yo yun eh. Huwag ka na sumagot kung di mo makayang sagutin yun. Mr. Chair, may I go back to the representative of the mayor of Osamis City, the acting mayor?
No, the acting mayor is not present. The administrator, Sam Fuentes.
Mr. Chair, siguro po sa susunod, medyo maging stricto na tayo sa mga yan. Mukhang pinaiikutan tayo ng mga yan. Bakit naman yung city administrator ang ibibigay lang nila sa atin samantalang ang kasagutan sa mga tanong na ito kung minsan hindi rin naman kayang sagutin ng city administrator?
We cannot, we will record it as a sign that they don't want to be heard. If the mayor doesn't appear up to the last hearing, then it's his choice. We will still have the same finding regardless if he's here or he's not here.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Okay, pagtitsagaan ko na yung city administrator, Mr. Chair.
If Your Honor, please.
Mr. Administrator, Article 13, Section 10 of the Constitution provides that urban or rural poor shall not be evicted, nor their dwellings demolished, except in accordance with law and in just and humane manner. Are you aware of this constitutional injunction?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Chair, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Kahit ikaw noong last hearing, pinangatawanan mo na hindi mo alam kung sino ang nag-demolish sa mga kabahayan ng mga complaining residents. Tama?
If Your Honor, please let me clarify, Your Honor. What I stated, Your Honor, was there was no demolition, actual demolition conducted, Your Honor. There was voluntary dismantling by the residents who acquiesced to the relocation and the project itself.
Baka yung sinasabi natin, attorney, ay yung mga informal settlers.
Basically, yes, Your Honor.
Meron kasi akong balita na yung mga informal settlers, total wala naman silang mga bahay, but that happened in December of 2019. Ang pinag-uusapan natin is a period between April to August of 2020. Ito yung sinasabi mo na voluntaryo nilang dinimolish ang kanilang mga bahay. Tama ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pero
It was still voluntary.
Nakita mo yung mga slides ng nakita mo yung hagulgulan ng mga tao. They are weeping. They are asking for help.
If Your Honor, please,
Yun
those were not
ay
actual residents, Your
voluntaryo?
Honor. Those were not actual residents, nor were they parties to the case.
They are not residents of Busanis?
Not actual residents of the subject of the subject of this inquiry, Your Honor. They might have been residents of Osamis, they might have relatives residing there, but they were not the actual residents who are subject to the case, Your Honor.
Attorney,
yes, Your Honor.
You know the ordinance of expropriation that was initiated by your own city.
Yes, Your Honor.
You identified the lots to be expropriated, pati
Yes,
yung
Your-
mga residents na inexpropriate ninyo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bakit sasabihin mo ngayon that they are not actual residents samantalang you pinpointed the very lots and the residents to be covered by those buildings? Okay.
Those
Let me
properties,
ask you.
those shown in the video, Your Honor, the supposed affected individuals were not the actual parties to the case, Your Honor.
O, nasa sayo yan. Pero ang akin lang sinasabi ganito.
If Your Honor, please, I would just like, may I be allowed, Your Honor? Just a final, as at least, with due deference, Your Honor, I would just like to erase any vestige of any irregularity pertaining to the writ of possession, Your Honor, because in your statement beforehand, you were saying that I was actually lying. With due
Kanina
respect,
kasi sinabi mo, attorney, sinabi mo na binayaran mo yung 3 requisites.
yes, Your
I
Honor,
talked
we
to the
did.
clerk of court.
Yes,
Ang
we did,
binayaran
Your
nyo
Honor,
lang-
but
Ang binayaran nyo lang yung lupa pero hindi yung current zonal value.
yes, Your
You
Honor,
paid
because
from
under,
1,200
if Your
Pero-
Honor, please.
pero hindi yung current zonal value. At the time of the taking, attorney, pinagtanong ko sa BIR, sana may panahon pa tayo hanggang mamaya because the BIR representative is there. Alam ko at that time the zonal value is at least 7,500 pesos. Ang sabi
Yes, Your
ng clerk of court,
As of the present, if Your Honor, please, what I'm trying to state, Your Honor, trying to bring out is that it was the discretion of the court, Your Honor, because apparently the court was just following OCA circular number 113-2009, which really requires the value of the land, Your Honor.
you're not supposed to decide on that because
That's precisely my point, Your Honor. It was the
Article
court which
requirement.
decided on that, Your Honor.
The
And second,
only point, okay, the
And-
only point I'm trying to elicit to you now is this. Bakit kasi lumilitaw na palagi niyong sinasabi walang naganap na demolition para bang kailangang magbulag-bulagan na lang tayo, walang nangyaring demolition. Ito yung mahirap tanggapin siguro. Attorney, as the owner of the project, the author of the ordinances to expropriate, the petitioner in the expropriation complaints, and the movant in the break open pleas filed in court against several residents to drive them away from their own houses, would you still deny that LGU Osamis is not the one which ordered demolition of the houses in Poroclaman? Will you still deny that?
If Your Honor, please, it was the residents themselves which
On your
who
lawyer's
voluntarily
oath,
dismantled
attorney, on your lawyer's oath, would you still insist that these residents voluntarily demolished their houses?
As
Despite
far
the
as I
fact
know,
that they are
yes, Your
present
Honor.
today and that they denied your statement?
Yes, as far
Do
as
you
I know,
expect-
yes, Your Honor.
Do you expect anyone to believe you?
If Your Honor, please, whatever might be their belief, Your Honor, because that is the actual fact, Your Honor, that happened.
This committee is the final arbiter as to what is the final fact, Mr. Attorney.
We submit, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Chair, it was admitted in the last hearing that the expropriation complaints were based on Section 19 of the LGU's power of eminent domain. It is on record that the city administrator agreed that the said provision of the Constitution equally cites the Constitution and other pertinent laws. Tama? Tama, Attorney, di ba? Nakalagay na ba?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
And the pertinent laws are 72, 79, and 10752. We're already finished with this, right? Are you aware, Attorney, that in the case of Lagcao versus Labra, GR number 155746, October 13, 2004, the Supreme Court ruled that the exercise of the LGUs of the power of eminent domain is not absolute. Are you aware of that case? It's yes or no, Attorney. Are you aware of that case? I am not getting an answer to you, from you. Do you hear me, Attorney?
I am not familiar with the case cited, Your
Okay,
Honor.
you're not familiar. Then I will familiarize you with this case. Mr. Chair, I ask this question because in that particular case, may I repeat that? Lagcao versus Labra, GR number 155746, October 13, 2004. In that particular case, Mr. Chair, the Supreme Court cited two provisions in the Bill of Rights which limit the exercise of such power. Number one, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be deprived the equal protection of laws. Number two, private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation.
Mr. Chair,
Did you...
with your kind indulgence, Mr. Chair,
Yes, DS Ominal, what is your pleasure?
yeah, may I know on how many minutes more that this Marcoleta wants to use in interpreting our
It
speakers?
is up to you because you yielded time. Because you are second to interpret, we can go back to him for a second round. It is up to you if you want to end it.
We can give him 5 minutes more, Mr. Chair, and to wind up so that I could have also my turn in asking questions to our resource speakers today.
DS Marcoleta, we can give you another 1 hour after your first round, so that DS Ominal can have his turn. Please wind up for the first round only. You will be called for a second round. Thank you.
Medyo bitin na, Mr. Chair. Kasi kung 5 minutes lang, mga 10 minutes siguro, then I will temporarily stop.
Okay, 10 minutes. Then we will give you another 1 hour after the 1 hour of DS Ominal.
Thank you. Mr. City Administrator, did you recognize those two limitations cited in that case?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And this,
In the same case, Mr. Chair, the Supreme Court explained that Republic Act 7279 is the law that governs the local expropriation of property for purposes of urban land reform and housing, particularly Section 9 and 10 thereof. Did LGU Osamis examine this law before it exercised its power of eminent domain?
I understand, Your Honor, it was part of those that were actually evaluated, Your Honor.
I see.
However,
Let me see.
in this,
Let us see if you have evaluated this. Another question, are you familiar with the cases of estate of JBL Reyes versus City of Manila, GR number 132431, February 13, 2004?
again, I'm not familiar, Your Honor.
Okay. How about the case of Philstream versus Court of Appeals, GR number 125218, January 28, 1998?
The same, Your
Same.
Honor.
You're not familiar with this. Mr. Chair, I am drawing the attention of the city administrator to these cases because if it is indeed true that LGU Osamis cared to study these cases, it would have refrained from expropriating those private lands that eventually led to the unfortunate destruction of the residents' houses. Why? Because in these cases, I mentioned, the Supreme Court emphasized that Section 9 and 10 of RA 7279 are limitations to the exercise of the power of eminent domain, especially with respect to the order of priority in acquiring private lands and in the modes of resorting to expropriation proceedings. Question. Attorney, do you know the prescribed order of priority in acquiring private lands? Are you familiar with this?
The limitation, Your Honor, applies to those are...
I am asking you if you know the prescribed order of priority in acquiring private lands for housing. You don't know. I will tell you, these are the order of priority. Mag-uumpisa kayo from those owned by the government. Number 2, alienable lands of the public domain. Number 3, unregistered or abandoned and idle lands. Number 4, those within declared areas or priority development, zonal improvement sites. Number 5, bliss sites. And number 6, privately owned lands. So nakikita mo dito sa order of priority, attorney, panghuli yung private lands. Okay? Nauna nyo bang kinonsider yung 5 na order of priority in the acquisition of lands? Hindi. Pumunta kayo kagad, binaligtad ninyo, ang una ninyong kinuha ay private lands. Next question. Do you know the modes of acquiring lands for socialized housing? Ito, modes naman. Kanina, sinasabi ko sa iyo,
Yes, the order of priority.
prescribed order. Ngayon, I am asking you now if you know the modes of acquiring lands for socialized housing. Do you know? Be honest.
We just adhere, Your Honor, to what is...
Okay. Ito yung mga modes in this order, okay? Number 1, community mortgage. Number 2, land swapping. Number 3, land assembly or consolidation, land banking. And then donation to the government, and then joint venture agreement, and then negotiated purchase, and the last is expropriation. Ang ginawa ng LGU attorney, binaligtad nyo na naman. Ang inuna nyo is expropriation. Do you know the strict condition enunciated by RA 7279 and pointed out by the Supreme Court before an LGU can resort to expropriation? Do you know the strict condition? Be honest. You don't know. The strict condition is that you cannot resort to expropriation without exhausting the other modes of land acquisition, of socialized housing. Ang ginawa ninyo, nagumpisa kayo kagad sa expropriation without exhausting the rest of the other modes. And then the other condition, if there is no other recourse but to expropriate, Section 10 of 7279 says, Owners of parcels of land belonging to small landowners are exempted for purposes of this act. Exempted sila, attorney. Kaya nga sinasabi ko sa iyo kanina kung alam mo itong mga kasong ito. Ang sabi mo, in-evaluate ninyo. You did not, because if you did, hindi natuloy sana itong expropriation na ito. Did you know, attorney, that in the 3 cases I cited before you, dalawa kasing syudad ang involved dito, isa ang City of Cebu and the City of Manila. In these 3 cases, the City of Cebu lost its expropriation case and the City of Manila lost twice because they failed to comply with sections 9 and 10 of Republic Act 7279. I will tell you the very reason. Mr. Chair, ganito ang sabi ng Korte Suprema. The Supreme Court made it very, very clear in these cases, in these 3 cases, that, and I will quote this, compliance with these conditions is mandatory because these are the only safeguards of oftentimes helpless owners of private property, like the complaining residents of Osamis City, against violation of due process when their property is forcibly taken for public use. This is the admonition, this is the ruling of the Supreme Court.